Can you guess what this is? According to the NIH, 8 out of 10 people are currently struggling with this. What is it? Let's find out.
The goal here is to learn how to treat your mind and body like a professional athlete. Welcome to Mind Your Body. I'm Dr. Audra Lance. I'm a doctor of chiropractic who specializes in treating sports and non-surgical injuries. Anything that involves muscles and joints. I treat big-name celebrities and professional athletes. Most of my patients refer to me as the witch doctor because they can't explain any other way their pain was removed that quickly. I hate cooking, but I do love wine, and don't even think about giving me anything that involves ketchup because I will not eat it. Every episode of this show is designed to help you move better, live better, and feel better. Now let's go do this thing.
Are you on the edge of your seat right now? Just dying to know what this is. I'm so curious of your guess. Now remember, I'm in injuries and stuff, so it has to be something to do with that. Okay, I'll just tell you. Low back pain. 8 out of 10 people are currently struggling with low back pain. It's wild. And of course, as a chiropractor, that's what people normally come see us for. Even though we can treat so many other things. Carpal tunnel, plantar fasciitis, shoulders, necks, headaches, all the things. The most popular reason people come to us is for low back pain. Now, some other reasons you have low back pain or some ways symptoms present are kind of funny. We often get, oh my gosh, all I do is stretch my hamstrings. My hamstrings are so tight. Well, guess what? You probably have a little low back issue going on because you shouldn't have to stretch your hamstrings all the time. We also have seen knee pain, calf pain, and even not necessarily pain, but tightness. Do you ever have something that you're like, this is just so tight or crampy? Foot, hip flexor, groin, all coming from the low back. It's so wild. Another comment we get, they're like, how is this coming from my low back when I don't have low back pain? Like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm human. Every once in a while I get low back tightness, but I don't have low back pain. Just because you don't feel it in your low back doesn't mean that's not where it's originating from. I know. Let's just take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose. As you inhale into your bowel. Exhale and expand. This is a lot to digest. Take a sip of your coffee, wine, whatever your beverage choice is. I mean, water's probably the best choice, but let's be honest, we're not all perfect. So let me give you a couple cases, real life cases where this has happened. You might be able to relate. First case, let's say it's Jenny. Jenny comes in, and this is a patient, but her name's not Jenny. She, runner, trying to run a marathon, but has been struggling with her left hamstring. It's always so tight, and it gets worse at mile 13. Woohoo! Getting to mile 13. I mean, I'd be pumped for that. Comes in, and she's just like, I can't go any farther. It cramps, and we're just done. So evaluate and figure out. There's a couple different reasons because we need to evaluate your running form, everything that this is happening. But the major reason is she has a low back, and we call it, when we classify it, a derangement. But we don't need to go into all that medical hoodlum talk. Let's just keep it real. So we find an exercise for her that she can help herself, so you don't have to completely rely on us and see us your whole life, all day, every day, even though that would be fun. We'd have a lot of fun. So that she can go home with just one thing to do to help herself. Meanwhile, we need to address the soft tissue component because, of course, she has like her glutes and piriformis spasming. And then she has an underlying little nerve entrapment. We figure out as we progress through appointments. So we address the low back, we address the neural component, and then we go, all right, so what got you here? It wasn't like you had a traumatic football injury hit, something. This is just gradually over time, probably something you were doing. You work at a desk, so you've been sitting, then our hip flexors get chronically short and tight. Well, here is one of the most, I'm giving you so much gold today, areas of the body that I feel like is commonly missed. And I don't know why. Like in Prague and other countries, I know you guys are, take off your shirts, fully examine, and just in the US, that doesn't fly. Luckily, I'm, especially with the females, able to see stomachs and see how backs move and everything, and people are comfortable with that. But normally, we leave all our clothes on here. But your abdomen and your quote-unquote core is so commonly missed. There's not only trigger points in there, but sometimes scar tissue from C-sections, surgeries. Those are all huge components of pain, and we need to address them. And what do you think, besides trigger points and everything, we need to address? Breathing. You guessed it. If you're walking around breathing, I should have looked up the stat, how much we breathe times a day, but it's going to be thousands. Every time you breathe, if you're doing it incorrectly, oh my gosh, think of how much that contributes to your muscles and your tightness. Okay, so let's get back in the lane. We really focused on breathing with her and correct utilization of intra-abdominal pressure. So, what has she done? Run 6 marathons since and no pain. Pretty cool, huh? Next case to show you. Professional hockey player. Had been struggling with low back pain, but went to some different surgeons and got a bunch of imaging, which imaging is a great tool. But if we're only treating off the images, we're missing the boat. There has been multiple research studies that has showed they take a bunch of people, 50 people, put them through the MRI, and even the asymptomatic people who show no pain have things going on in their low back. It's just called aging. Welcome to it. We're grateful to be able to do it. But our bodies do change and shift, and as you get older, your discs degenerate and dehydrate. That is just science that we can't change. But that doesn't mean that is the source of your pain. So all too often we go, oh wow, there is a little bit of a disc bulge. Let's go in and chop it. That'll cure your pain. And then what do we see in our office? Oh, that didn't fix it. We're still in pain. Now, that being said, I want to make clear, there is a time and a place for surgery. Absolutely. I've sent people for surgery. I'm not against it. But we need to focus on more the least invasive option and work our way up to the most invasive option. Once you cut, there's no going back. And I don't care what kind of surgery that is or what you do. I mean, even if you fall, if you land and you cut. So we need to make sure we have the full utilization of the movement exam, neurological exam, everything going on before we're like, yep, surgery is the best option. By the time he got to me, let's just call him Joe. Joe had been to a couple different incredible top surgeons in the US, and they're all like, let's do low back pain. He had a player on the team. I was like, hey, just go see her, let her evaluate, why not? Somehow talked him into it. So talk about the pressure being on walking in. Hey, these surgeons told me I need surgery. What do you think? Ooh. I respect and value, and I work with a ton of surgeons, everyone's opinion, but you're like, all right, I'm in the hot seat. Ugh. And I said, evaluated him, said, can you give me a couple weeks and really grind in here with me? And let's see if surgery needs to be your option or if we can heal it from then. It was coming from dun, 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 yes, is low back. But we were able to address the whole chain: feet, glutes, and low back, and core and breathing, and get everything functionally moving correctly, activating correctly, along with addressing, the soft tissue components. And has been playing, how many years ago was this? 6 years ago. Hasn't had a problem since. But low back pain, it is so common. We've also had people come in with calf or foot tightness, and they have been put in boots, or they have taken themselves of running and functioning. And we have also had people come in with foot and calf tightness and put themselves in boots or not running. And we figure out that it's originating in their low back. Now, you can also have the classic low back tightness. Bend over, brush your teeth. Oh my God. You quote unquote threw out your low back. That freaking hurts. Lifting and twisting is another common way to get a low back injury. Sitting all day, traveling in a car, that always flares up. If there's any instability, functional movement pattern, any faulty functional movement pattern, if there's anything even just a little awry, a little inflamed, a little bit icky, that will flare it up. So as you're listening to this, at some point in your life, if you're not already, probably going to have somewhat of a low back issue. And you're like, okay, well, what do I do about this? Well, first, move. Sitting around at all is not good. I don't care if you're just walking to the mailbox 10 times. I actually think that's great. You need to be moving somewhat every day. And you need to find a movement you enjoy. So if that is walking, which I personally love a walk, it's like meditation, calming, workout. I don't know. It's something I've gotten really into the past year. And I used to think it was only for old people and you need to do super hard workouts. But that's a whole nother episode. We'll talk about all that. But if that is snow skiing, biking, lifting, whatever, find dancing. I also love to have a dance party every day when I get home from work. 2 minutes. I just pick a favorite song. Lately, I've been in the 90s country. Okay, yes, love it. Put it on the speakers in the house, and we just have a dance party. Me and the dog, and if my husband's home, we do that too. But it's just so fun and like playful, and you're moving, and your body, like, try it. Like, especially if you've had a bad day at work, try it. It'll change your mood and just like refresh your brain to have a whole new perspective on things. So you need to find a movement. Then you also need to be addressing your breathing. I don't care what injury you have, low back, neck, it is a crucial component. I have created Breathe Out of Tension. It's a 3-part audio series, and it's free. I mean, free. And I guide you through 3 different spots when you're traveling. So this could be on an airplane, in the car, when you're sitting at your desk. So we all do that. And when you're about to go to sleep, of just guiding you through how to correctly breathe and what correct cues to use. So you need to go grab that. It is at mytrainingroom.co. We'll put the links in the show notes. But I mean, this is silly if you're not using this. This is stuff I do with my patients. Everyone, from my professional athletes, my celebrities, to my runners, to people who travel for work. I mean, everyone, we are discussing breathing. So you need to go get those now. That would just be so silly not to take that free offer. It's very generous. So you need to start there, and it's simple. And don't get me wrong, it is like scratching a rash. It is so boring sometimes. But sometimes the simplest, most boring things are the biggest components in your healing or prevention of an injury journey. So those are the 2 simple things I'm going to leave you with. One thing in my office we don't overwhelm you with a bunch of shit that you're not going to do. I only realistically give people homework that I would actually do and have time for and make a priority. So we'll start simple. Find a movement. Once again, Move your body. It's going to help everything. And 2, work on that breathing. Go to mytrainingroom.co, download the 3 free-part audio series, and start working on it. And let's just do a second right there to close this out. Let's reduce that 8 out of 10 number because we're all going to be feeling good of low back pain. As you're sitting there, we're going to breathe through our nose. So you're going to inhale, and as you inhale, expand 360 degrees. And you're going to exhale through your nose and let it all relax. So think of breathing into those ribs. Inhale through your nose and let it all relax. Let your ribs fall down. Inhale in through your nose and think of breathing into your kidneys. Exhale through your nose and let it relax. And now my favorite, we need to get 360 degrees in your abdomen. So as you inhale, think of breathing into your butthole all the way down in your pelvic floor. And exhale through your nose and relax. Go have a good day. You got this.
Now, if you want to do something really special for me and got a lot out of this episode, go leave a 5-star written review of the show on Apple Podcast. And if you're a Spotify listener, just tap the 5 stars. To submit any of your health questions to the show, simply DM me on Instagram at Dr. Audra Lance. And don't worry, all your questions will be kept strictly anonymous. So send me all your embarrassing questions. And don't forget, breathe into your butthole. Toodaloo!